What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise post-game show here on a Saturday night. The Blazers today played an interesting basketball game. They lose to the Denver Nuggets 114 to 111 in a game where they started 5 rookies. For the first time in franchise history and the second time since the NBA-ABA merger, and they went against the defending champs, although Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray didn't play in this one either. So a couple short-handed teams, the Blazers without multiple guys, no Anthony Simons, no Jeremy Grant, no DeAndre Ayton, no Shaedon Sharpe, of course, no Malcolm Brogdon. But you had some good moments from individual players in this game. You had some good moments from some rookies. You had Scoot Henderson put together some buckets late. We'll talk about his game. Eric, I don't know exactly when he's going to be here, but maybe we'll get him on the show. This will probably be an hour-long live stream, and we're just going to talk about that, and also my condolences to you if you are a Ducks fan. That game was phenomenal, but really tough loss in the NCAA tournament for the Ducks in double OT. So if you're a Ducks fan, hopefully the stream can give you a little bit of solace. And yeah, it sounds like Eric will be here in approximately 20 minutes. So, Blazers lose by 3. They fought back in the second half. They were down 9 at halftime, had a 36-point third quarter. It's good to see that unit that started the game play some good offense. Duop Reith was phenomenal, 26 minutes, 24 points. Basically, if DeAndre Ayton doesn't play, Duop Reith goes off, is what we're discovering right now. 3 for 6 from 3 for Reith, 9 for 14 from the field, also had 8 boards, couple of assists, couple of blocks. You had Toumani Camara do some things in this game. 16 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists for Toumani Camara. Could have gotten a triple-double if this game went into overtime, maybe. I mean, that he filled up the stat sheet, and he's been doing some things offensively that is good to see going into next year. He goes 2 for 4 from 3, 6 for 11. Chris Murray, 5 for 13 from the field, but only 1 for 6 from 3. Talked about how he needed to follow up 2 games in a row of good shooting with a stretch of good shooting here to end the season for me to have faith in his shot going into next year. Unfortunately, tonight looked more like he's looked behind the arc. Earlier in the season, 1 for 6, has multiple games like that. But he did some nice things, couple of rebounds, played some solid defense. Inside the arc, 4 for 7, 11 points for him tonight. Ryan Rupert gets his first career start, only plays 16 minutes, ends up with 3 points on 1 for 2 from the field. 5 assists for him. 5 assists. The Blazers moved the ball pretty decently tonight, 27 assists on 43 made shots. The starting lineup especially. And then off the bench, Delano Banton. I'm going to wait to talk about him, but we're going to have a conversation about him because 5 for 19 for Banton, 1 for 6 from 3. It's funny because after the game, the Blazers broadcast was calling him consistent. Because he had many games in a row of 10 or more points. I mean, given how many times he's shooting the ball, he better have multiple games in a row of 10 points if he's going to shoot the ball 19 times. We'll talk a little bit about that. Only 1 assist on the night for him. He goes 4 for 13 inside the arc. He has not been good inside the arc for the Blazers, and he forces a lot of tough shots in there. And that's what we're going to talk about on this one. Chat. I will answer questions before Eric gets here. That's the easiest way to do a solo stream is just communicate with you guys and do this thing. But before we do that, this stream is brought to you by BetUS. You can use our sign-up link in the description box below to sign up for BetUS. It helps out the channel. And then if you use promo code JOIN125, JOIN125, you get 3 125% deposit bonuses on your first 3 deposits, courtesy of BetUS. That's $125 for a $100 deposit. You have to deposit between $100 and $2,500, but it's a great offer with baseball right around the corner and March Madness going strong. March Madness has been fun. So make sure you take advantage of that offer. Get in on the action. They're also offering you 10% gambler's insurance if you are active every 6 months. So shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this stream. We got recent chat. We got Bouquet, Garben, Frank Dodge asks, is Chris Murray worth to keep? I mean, he's on a rookie contract. It makes no sense to get rid of him in a rebuild, and he's He's been solid in a number of areas. You just hope that he can start shooting the ball consistently. If he can start shooting the ball consistently, you have yourself probably a role player there. But that is a bit of a question mark right now, his shot. Higgins played pretty well. He played good D. Yeah, Higgins plays hard, man. And coming out of Kentucky, that was the one thing that gave him a chance to get drafted was his defense. Just tough, being a little undersized, not being much of a three-point shooter, but he can definitely defend, definitely plays hard. Why didn't we give Chris a chance like Kamara and the other rookies earlier in the season? Because Kamara is a better player right now. I think it's literally that simple. Chris, if he was shooting the ball well to start the season, maybe he would have gotten more of a chance, but Kamara is better defensively and this season has shot the ball better. So those two things are the reason why Kamara's played ahead of him. Devin Ford says, what's up? Heartbreaking Oregon loss, but Scoop played well, so I'm feeling neutral right now. Yeah, so this game, the ending of this game was a little weird. You had Scoot get 3 of his 9 made field goals in the final, minute there on quick layups. Basically, Blazers trying to play the foul game, trying to take quick twos, foul, hope they miss a free throw and take more quick twos. Didn't end up working out. Denver did miss its final free throw, so the Blazers actually had a chance to tie with 1.5 seconds left. Unfortunately, they did not have any timeouts. So it resulted in a three-quarter court heave by Chris Murray that didn't come close. So Scoot got the Blazers there with 3 buckets, 3 quick twos. I saw somebody ask before we went live, somebody asked in the live chat, did Scoot stat pad? Going for quick twos isn't stat padding, and honestly, on one of those layups, I think he got fouled. You could hear a slap, and it should have been 3 points, and that would have made the comeback a lot more viable, a lot more possible. For the Blazers, you get a 3-point play, cut it to within 1. Then if you foul, even if they make both, you can go for 3 instead of being down 4, instead of being down 2 possessions. So I understand questioning the strategy of going for quick twos. Scoot had all 3 of those layups were with 30 seconds left or less. One was with 27, one was with 10, one was with 3. But it is a viable strategy. A couple of those finishes were actually quite impressive. I'm not going to discount him for that. I mean, I feel like we got to stop maybe nitpicking or overthinking stuff with Scoot. Like, he's going to have some impressive moments. He's going to have some moments where he struggles. Unfortunately, he's been struggling lately, but he does need to improve his finishing. And while it would be nice to see Scoot improve his finishing before the season is out and start finishing more plays with these opportunities he's going to get the rest of the year, it's probably going to take an off season of work to look noticeably different. He's not going to randomly learn anything that changes his finishing drastically right now. Getting a little bit more experience could help for sure. That's why I want to give young guys like him a lot of reps to end the season. But in terms of finishing, there's some footwork and technique stuff and certain things that he needs to work on outside of games that will noticeably improve it. Scoot did hit a step back 3 with 2.5 minutes left. That actually gave the Blazers a chance in this game. They were down, 12, 14 points there in the fourth quarter. And then just like last night, had a spark late where they got this game close. Scoot kind of started that spark a little bit there with 2.5 minutes left, hitting that big 3. That cut the lead from 12 to 9. So Scoot, some good moments late in this game. Was awesome to see. 9 for 20, not the most efficient night, but I'll take 9 for 20 from him. And this is 2 games in a row where he shot the 3 ball decently. I believe he was 3 for 6 last game, 2 for 4 tonight. You like to see that because he was in a little bit of a shooting slump since coming back from that injury that he missed time with after the All-Star break. And I mean, as long as he continues to knock down some threes, it's definitely promising. Of course, he has to work on being able to make teams pay for playing drop coverage and going under screens on pick and rolls, but that, just like his finishing ability, probably needs another off season of work. But 9 for 20, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Probably should have gone to the free throw line more. 6 assists for him as well. I like the way the Blazers passed the ball tonight. I mean, putting up 111 points against this Nuggets team. I know they were shorthanded, but they still know how to play defense. Was a pretty good pretty good offensive performance considering who the Blazers had out there. They did not make a three in the first half. I believe they were 0 for 12. So they go 10 for 16 in the second half. They get hot from three, which is phenomenal. They shoot 36% from three. You like to see that. Chat, give me your takeaways from this game. Let me know what you think of some of the performances in this game. And in the meantime, do Gabe a favor, hit the like button. It helps out the channel. Should we just draft the UConn team? We'll see how UConn looks tomorrow when they play. But yeah, this Blazer team would go undefeated in college basketball. Good to see Duop back in a groove. Absolutely. He's just... Duop is maybe good enough offensively to be a backup big in the league. But when he's been a backup big behind Ayton, he just hasn't been good. He hasn't been noticeable. But when he starts, he looks phenomenal offensively. When he starts, he looks like a starting caliber center offensively. And he just doesn't do other things well enough to start. And that's rebound the ball, that's play defense. The problem is he doesn't seem to get a rhythm as the backup big. But when he starts and gets 28 minutes, 29 minutes, and gets more looks, he gets a rhythm and he'll have games like this. He was phenomenal the 5 games before Ayton returned and then basically completely disappeared. So it's kind of this weird situation where Reith, unfortunately, isn't good enough to start, but he plays much better when he does start. So it's an interesting conundrum. Bouquet says, could Reith play the 4? Absolutely not. He is not quick enough, doesn't see things fast enough defensively, doesn't guard the perimeter well enough. Reith is an undersized 5 with some of the same defensive issues that Trent and Watford had. And he's just not solid defensively, unfortunately. Went back and looked through every made field goal from the Clippers last night, and just, if you go back and watch some made shots, the Duop Reith defensive mistakes stand out even more than watching the game live. Taylor Packer says, for me, the biggest takeaway was how good of a player Tamani is when he's hitting shots and giving us something on offense. I'm kind of met on Chris and Jabari, but Tamani is a real keeper. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I love Tamani, and I feel like with Chris and Rupert and some of these newer young guys in a way that haven't gotten a chance, like Kamara has gotten earlier in the year, since these guys are playing, I feel like Kamara maybe gets overlooked a little bit now because we're used to Kamara starting, playing heavy minutes, but 2 for 4 from 3. He's been shooting the 3 ball well for a couple months now. He was in maybe a little bit of a slump. Like I think he was 4 for his last 15, but now he's 6 for his last 19. I mean, that's small sample size and not too bad. That's, 31.5%. That's pretty close to a seasonal average. I just like that, the last 2 months he's shooting, if I had to guess, 39-40% from 3, somewhere around there. Chat, if you know the numbers for the last couple of months, let me know. But he's been shooting the 3 ball well. But then it's just all the other stuff. Like his rebounding lately has been what's really impressing me. Like all of a sudden he's just a major factor on the offensive glass. He had 4 offensive rebounds today. And it's like we talked about him needing to provide value offensively earlier in the year. And the 2 easiest things is always obviously make more threes, and he needs to continue to work on his shot to do that. But also just crash the glass. He's athletic, he's long, he's lengthy. He should be able to get some offensive rebounds, especially if he's playing a small forward position, because he's bigger and more athletic than a lot of the small forwards guarding him. And he has a good wingspan. So provide value by cleaning up some missed shots, and he's been doing that lately. The passing, he's had some flashes that is intriguing. Blazers, I'm just kind of going to go through his assists here. His first assist was near the end of the second quarter. Blazers had a good inbounds play. It was a basic, inbound the ball to Reith. He skips it over to Kamara. The inbounder was Chris Murray, and he gets a back screen, and Kamara just reads it, makes a pinpoint pass to Murray. He gets a wide open dunk. Just a good set. Bad defense by the Nuggets, but good read by Kamara, good pass. Kamara just plays really well in the flow. There's maybe a couple assists that weren't anything to do with like Kamara drawing the defense. Like he had one, he hands off to Henderson, but he's been pushing the pace a little more. The one bucket Rupert got was definitely some self-creation that was like a borderline assist. They did give it to Tamani, but he was pushing the ball in transition and drew the defense and kicked it out to Rupert. Kamara needs to get better finishing the ball in order to be like a true transition threat, but if he can push the pace, collapse the defense, and kick, once he's playing a little bit more next to guys like Shaden Sharp, Anthony Simons, and maybe more shooters next year, Jeremy Grant, etc., all of a sudden that becomes a weapon if you can push the pace with somebody like that and then kick out to a trailing Anthony Simons or a trailing Jeremy Grant. So that's something that's very intriguing to me. Kamara also had a nice kick out. He sees kick out passes. I think he's being a little bit more in control when he drives. Because earlier in the season, he'd kind of just put his head down, try and drive. He'd do like a weird Euro step and just try and contort his body too much and shoot layups that were really difficult at the angles he was trying to shoot them. And part of the reason why they were difficult was because he was drawing a lot of defensive attention. And now I think he's doing a better job of realizing those situations and then finding the right kickout pass. His 5th assist of the game was an offensive rebound tip out to Duop Breath. So not exactly a pass. 6th assist for Kamara. Let's see here, it was that backdoor cut by Banton that Kamara just threw on the money to cut the game to 6 right there at the end of the game. I mean, that was a dime. That was an impressive pass. I didn't expect Kamara to really showcase any flashes of passing potential as a rookie. He's not somebody that was asked to do that in college. So just the fact that he's seeing some of these kickout passes and that backdoor pass was a pretty impressive one is a good sign. He's probably never going to be a guy that averages 5, 6, 7 assists a game or anything like that. But if you're talking about a team of the future that plays more within the flow of an offense where the ball moves more, it helps to have guys that can A, make threes, and B, make the right pass and cut and read the game a little bit. And Tamani's showing some signs of that, which is a really, really good thing considering the things that he does defensively. So I really like the way Tamani's been playing lately. It's a really good sign. He could be a really important piece starting next year. But for the future, he's the type of role player you love to have. Somebody that can defend, hopefully continue to knock down threes, and then make some basic passes, basic plays. Bouquet, are you talking about Tumani? Or are you talking about Scoot? Said has to learn to average those assist numbers to be worth him starting. I was talking about Tumani. Yeah, I was talking about Tumani. We still want Draymond Green. We're rebuilding. Why do we want Draymond Green? We're rebuilding. We couldn't even get him. Like, he's not available. He's not leaving Golden State. What are we talking about? We could have got Gordon from Orlando, but the Blazers front office were /are too conservative. We would have had to trade Anthony Simons for him. Like, we were not winning a championship with Dame by just giving him Aaron Gordon, which is why we were against it. And now that we're in a rebuild, I'm glad we didn't trade Anthony Simons for Aaron Gordon. Watch Tumani be the star in a few years. Yeah, maybe he has like a Pascal Siakam type of rise. I mean, that'd be awesome. But yeah, he looks good as a role player. Let's see. Who you guys want to talk about next? Or maybe do we do an early tankathon before Eric gets here just to see if we're lucky without him? I kind of feel that. Let's do that. Let's do a quick little tankathon early this time just to see if we're lucky without Eric here. because I know this has been a point of contention. I never mute the soundboard all the way. All right. So, the Portland Trail Blazers right now are 1.5 games out of Charlotte. Well, let me refresh this. Hold on. Still 1.5 games out of Charlotte. They're only 6.5 games out of the worst record in the league, which is kind of wild. Washington won again. They're 4-6 in their last 10. Portland has to keep losing because Toronto might lose every game the rest of the season. Meanwhile, you got Houston on an 8-game winning streak. They're 1 win behind Golden State. They could legitimately catch Golden State. Golden State has, in their last 10, lost 5 games on Houston, which is wild. It was looking dire there. It was looking like the Warriors pick could end up here. Now, you got 8th place in the West. Warriors are 4.5 games away from them, and time is obviously running out. So, it looks like the floor for this pick is probably 16. Maybe 17 if play-ins shake out weirdly. Like if a 10th seed plays their way in. And that's a pretty good floor. Because we were thinking it could fall all the way down to 20, 21, 22, maybe even 23 with how the Warriors were playing earlier in the year. So their pick status I'm pretty happy with. Pretty happy with right now. We've been good on the tankathon lately. Eric, maybe I'm going to prove that us together, we're good together, okay? So we'll do another sim when you're back. But let's see what it is. If there's solo luck here. We got the Warriors pick. OKC, Chicago, Atlanta, Utah, Houston. So far, so good. Memphis. Charlotte. So Portland. Let's go. Portland moves up into the top 4. You got Charlotte at 6, and then I'm guessing Detroit at 5. As always, it's Detroit at 5. They reclaimed the top spot in the lottery as well with the couple of games that Washington has won. It does not matter. They are still 5th. They're destined to be 5th. The lottery gods hate the Detroit Pistons. At 4 is Washington. At 3 is Portland again, just like last night. At 2 is Toronto, and at 1 is San Antonio. So San Antonio doesn't get the Toronto pick, but they do get the number 1 pick. So about what we've been doing lately, we've been getting a lot of 3rd picks lately. Wouldn't mind that 2nd year in a row. It would be interesting to see how that draft would shake out with San Antonio, Toronto, and then Portland. I love the Skype history in your box. Yes, the Eric Brandt Skype call history. You can see how long we were on calls for on each of our previous streams. This dates back extremely far. Anyway. I'll take a couple questions. Eric should be here soon, shortly. But I'll take a couple questions before then if you guys got any good ones for me. And then we can continue to talk about this basketball game. Thoughts on Dana Altman as a coach? I mean, his teams tend to do well in March. But also, like, it is just... They only had 2 guys score in regulation in the second half, right? It was basically just Kuznard go down the court and save us. It was like Dame with Aldridge. Dante doesn't really play like Aldridge, but just Kuznard and Dante. I don't really know. I don't watch enough Oregon Duck basketball to honestly have like a good opinion on Dana Altman. Should we trade Grant to get Deron Holmes? I don't really like only getting Deron Holmes for Grant, and obviously don't know how that would work out. What's wrong with Grant? Fake injured? I mean, I don't know. I think he might be legitimately injured. Who knows? Reese says he's serious thoughts on O, but honestly, very good defensive coach. Yeah, I mean, I can see that because offensively he'll look like Terry Stotts, but that team competes, man. I mean, I was actually, believe it or not, rooting for Oregon. Rooting for the Ducks fans out there because I don't hate Oregon basketball. Like football, I'm a Husky fan, so I hate Oregon football more. Basketball, I'm more of a Gonzaga fan. And I was kind of hoping for a chaotic Elite Eight matchup between Oregon and Gonzaga. That would have been fun. Is Cal a washed coach? Yeah. He gets talent every year and never wins anything. He needs either Karl Anthony Towns or Anthony Davis to win something, I guess, is how it goes for him. So. What's up, Eric?
Hello.
Whew, my neck's sore. What's good?
Your neck's sore.
I don't know why. It's the leaning forward, man. I need to lean back. I wish I had a mic arm. But I got my mic on the desk, so I lean back. I'm further away now. Oh well. Or I could just hold my mic, although that probably wouldn't sound too good. So
hello, everyone.
How was the game? How was the raucous atmosphere inside Moda Center? How was the playoff level basketball?
It wasn't bad considering the injury report. I was expecting it to be dead in there. I mean, it wasn't crazy, but it was a fun atmosphere.
Yeah. I talked a bit about Kamara. I talked a bit about Scoot. Talked a bit about Reith. Just feel free to touch upon any of those guys if you had anything you wanted to talk about for them from this game.
Hello, everyone in chat. Glad to have you here. Yeah, I mean, obviously Tamani had a really nice game. Thought he did some really nice things on both ends. Scoot was, I mean, I thought he was decent. Like, he did some really good things. He did some bad things like he does, but thought overall he was fine tonight. Yeah, I'm trying to think who else. I
talked about Reith, but
yeah, I mean Reith obviously had a big game. Yeah. I thought it was interesting what you're saying about him starting versus backing up and only playing 12 minutes. That does seem to be a trend of his. When he has consistent minutes, he performs. So it was good to see him perform tonight. This game overall is like almost perfect. Like, they get down by like 15. I can't remember if it was more than 15 or that was the biggest lead Denver had. But then they fight back, take the lead. Scoot, I think, hit a 3 to make it 91-89 or something like that. And then they get down 12 with a couple minutes left. We're thinking the game is over. Make nice little rally at the end, make it close, respectable. Made it so the whole time there was no garbage time. They got to play against Denver's starters, in quotes. But yeah, so I thought that was a perfect game. Jabari was also pretty nice off the bench tonight.
Yeah. Well, I want to get into somebody that I was waiting to talk about until you were here. Okay. Rupert's passing, man.
Yeah.
So 5 assists, and they were all like pretty much good assists. He's a good passer, man, for his archetype, which is like a raw defensive prospect, 19 years old, right? He has some really impressive passes tonight where he's just drawing the defense. He sees the floor. I wish some other forwards on this team had his court vision or just saw the floor like him, which is kind of crazy because he has like no experience. But there's multiple
Yeah.
times where he just drew a defender, and just quickly, immediately threw a pinpoint pass out to the perimeter.
That was one good thing about his NBL experience last year. I think on that particular team, I feel like he did get some experience handling the ball. We had a discussion earlier about, but this was off stream, but Matas versus Salon and their roles on their team and handling the ball and stuff like that. So I think Repair got a little bit of experience with that last year. He was afforded the opportunity to create a little bit. And so I think, yeah, he had to learn something, but he's still, I mean, it is impressive to see what he did tonight, considering how, like, he does get a little turnover prone at times. Probably should have had a couple more than he did tonight. But, yeah, I mean, you can see the structuring of a player that could be really good once he puts it all together.
Yeah, I mean, my thing with him in the NBL is, did he get that opportunity because he showed that he could handle that opportunity? You know, it's a chicken or the egg debate, I guess, there. But
yeah,
because he sees the floor.
Mm.
He can make reads quick. You can tell just on some of these passes, like, there's multiple guys on this team that make some of these passes he made a lot slower, and by the time those passes are made, those guys are no longer open.
Mm. Well, the thing about international players that's so tough is, like, it's not always with a lot of those teams, oh, you're a really good player, you get to start and play the most minutes and have this role or whatever. There's a lot of politics. There's a lot of, when they know a player is coming to the NBA and not part of their long-term plans, unless they're, like, really good. Like, there's restrictions on players. They don't play as much, and their overall role and stats might not be the same as if they were a long-time player over there. And the biggest example of that is Sarr this year. I mean, he averaged, like 18 minutes a game or something. It's like they don't play him that much. So his overall stats don't look as good. So it's kind of hard to tell in some of those situations if the team is trying to say something about him and his abilities, or if like they're just not letting him do anything because they know he's not going to be part of the team moving forward.
Yeah, who are you talking about?
Repair and just, like, rookies in general that play international.
Oh, NBL. Okay, I was confused as to the phrasing of that. Yeah, yeah, it is interesting. I mean, yeah, I don't think either of his turnovers tonight were necessarily his fault. He got thrown the ball in two tough spots. One was running down the middle of the court where he was, like, full speed, so he had to put the ball on the floor and it got stolen. And then one was a little swing pass that Reggie Jackson got his hand on the pass, but somehow it was a Repair turnover. It's just, you know what he excites me is, like, the stuff that I feel like is harder to teach. I feel like he has a little bit of a grasp of.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like some of the things that are maybe easier to develop in a prospect is what he needs work on. And I think the biggest thing he needs work on is strength. I think that would make a monumental difference for his game on both ends if he got stronger. I think right now he gets pushed around too much on both sides. Talked about that last night, but can't stress it enough. But that's something that's easy, you know, and just get in the weight room, right?
Yeah.
It's harder to teach someone to make quick reads and read the defense and make a good pass and, like, play unselfish, right? Some guys just don't even want to make that pass in the first place.
But that's exactly why the whole he's not ready debate was stupid, because guys like that need experience to learn how to play the game and grow on those things that you do well and have opportunities to showcase some of those and then learn what you need to improve to make sure you're doing all the other things that'll keep you in the game so you can show off those reads and things like that. So that's been the thing for me this entire season is get him on the floor so he can start learning this stuff now, because I don't want to go into like next season with him still having a huge learning curve. We need to like start shortening these learning curves a little bit, and it's pointless not to in seasons like this where we're obviously not going to make the playoffs, and that's been known for months now. But yet he's just now starting to get some rotational minutes.
Shaw Doss asks, do you think if we picked Repair at 23, he would be playing more? Not really, because it's not like they played Chris Murray over Tamani Kamara. So I don't think so.
Yeah, I think he was just. I mean, he was. It's a little weird, but there are guys that you pick and you don't. You're high on them, but you don't expect them to contribute right away. And maybe he's a little further along right now than they thought he'd be. And maybe that has a lot to do with him playing in the G League or whatever. But they didn't pick him to contribute right away, whereas Tamani and Chris are older and are more experienced and stuff like that. They should have been a little bit more locked in and ready to maybe contribute earlier in the season. So I don't think it mattered where they were drafted. It's more age and how they were thought of in terms of readiness to play.
Yep, absolutely. That finish he had was impressive. I mean, that finish he had was basically showcased the good and the bad. Like, he almost falls over on a spin move, right? I mean, some of it may be, I don't know, if he's still getting used to his body, right? Like, being a 19-year-old who probably just, apparently he grew like an inch, maybe an inch and a half since the Blazers drafted him or something. Like, how much of that is just him still getting used to his body with maybe a little bit of the coordination. But also just impressive finish, impressive touch on that finish, Eric. The playmaking flashes with some of the touch he has on his finishes mixed with like some of his shooting to start the season. You know, he hasn't really made an impact shooting the 3-ball lately, but some positive flashes regarding his shooting, which was a question mark. And then, you know, defensively, I just think as he gets stronger, it'll make him a much better defender, and he can grow into his potential there. Like, it's just really exciting to envision what he could be, because I feel like he has a lot of pieces that to his game that aren't exactly easy to teach. Most notably, the some of the reads that he's able to make and some of the touch he has on his finishes.
I know he didn't play in the Milwaukee game, but did he play in the other game you went to? For the OKC game?
Yeah, I played a little bit. Didn't really do much.
Yeah, I just wanted to, because when you see him on the court, he seems like it's impressive, like his length and just his body, and you know what I mean. Like he looks like he could legit be a power forward once he gets some strength and stuff like that. And if he has those kind of skills, can knock down a three, and has that length and dribbling ability and finishing ability, and now add some passing reads to that, that's the type of four that can really change a franchise if he develops.
Yeah. There's still some things he needs to maybe work on. You know, the one miss he had in this game was a pretty badly missed little finger roll. He didn't get all the way to the rim. And that's where, like, he has some of these finishes, Eric. He just tries to beat defenders with length.
Right.
When he needs to create contact so that he's not fading away from the rim, so that he can gain space while simultaneously decelerating to finish. Like, a lot of times he just tries to, like, flick it up over the top when he could be using his body and his length to create more advantageous angles for himself. That's another thing. As he gets stronger, he's going to be more willing to use his body. Or, you know, he probably needs to be taught how to use his body a little bit better as well. But when you're getting pushed around on drives because guys are stronger than you, you're going to shy away from contact on drives. And, you know, he still had some impressive finishes, but the strength, I think, is more so than any other prospect on this team. The strength is the biggest thing for his development. I think it'll make the biggest difference.
Yeah, I know it's a little different with Anthony because he's, you know, a smaller guard, but same kind of concept though. when he gets stronger, if he uses that length to just attack the rim and try to dunk on people and go to the basket instead of, like you said, trying to just elevate over people and use weird arm angles and stuff. Like sometimes that's good. Like if you get cut off or whatever, the help comes and you're still able to get a shot off. But ultimately, I think the best finishers get either right to the backboard or get to the rim for dunks or draw a lot of fouls. And if he can learn how to use his body to do that instead of um, what he has been doing, that could take his game to another level as well.
Yep. Absolutely. Who else? Jabari 6 for 7. I mean, he's been playing quietly good basketball, man. I mean, this is only 3 as well, 9 rebounds. He's had a little stretch here of solid basketball. Let me pull up his game log.
When he was out, he missed a few games with injury and then came back. Yeah.
Yeah. So since coming back, he is 5 for 9 from 3. Not enough of a sample, just like what I say with Chris Murray, right? Like, it's not enough of a sample, but, hopefully he can continue that a little bit more. Because when he's making threes, he's just a better player. But he's been efficient, just finishing. Like, his finishing is impressive. He just uses his body really well. And he's somebody that got a little bit stronger, a little bit in better shape this season, and seemed to have learned how to use his body a little bit better on finishes, and you can see his finishing benefit from it. So, good to see him have some good moments lately. Followed up a 6 for 9 game last night with a 6 for 7 game. I still don't really know exactly what his role is on this team long term. That's kind of the weird thing about some of the guys playing right now. It's like they'll have moments like this where they look good, but if the team is better in future years and actually like trying to win, still don't know exactly what role like a Jabari Walker is going to have in that. So, luckily they got time to obviously figure it out. No rush now, but just interesting to think about right now for the future.
Yeah, it's always nice to have, a hustle rebound guy. He's I don't think he's really great as a small ball five. We kind of had some issues with rebounding at points in this game, not necessarily just when he was in, but yeah, I mean, if he can become a decent enough 3-point shooter to where he can stretch the floor at a 4 or small ball 5, and then adds all those other hustle things, finishing around the rim, which has improved a lot from last season. I think he can be an into the rotation guy. I don't know if his ceiling is much higher than that, Eric Olson, but yeah, I mean, I definitely think he could be, part of a bench rotation on a good team if he continues to develop his scoring a little bit.
Yeah, it's just interesting because he and Chris Murray are very redundant to me.
Yeah.
They're not exactly the same player, but they're similar in terms of like doing little things.
Mm-hmm.
We'll like box out, right? We'll have some solid defensive moments. They're kind of the same archetype. Defensively, I think Chris is a little bit more mobile. Both have had shooting struggles. That's the thing, is like which one of those two wins out in the future, because I only think one of them is going to be in the rotation for a decent Blazer team long term. And if I had to guess, it would be Chris, but Chris is also 3 years older. Right? Or is he 2 years older? I think he's maybe 2 years older. Yeah, Jabari's 21, Chris is 23. So
well, to be fair, Leonard Miller would have been kind of duplicate of Jabari as well. I think even more so, maybe.
no, because I think Leonard Miller is better at a 5, and Leonard Miller is a better ball handler. Like, has more potential as an off-the-dribble guy than Jabari.
But so does Chris, I guess.
I mean, I think Leonard Miller has more off-the-dribble potential than both of them.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it. I mean, Leonard Miller's biggest strength right now is be rebounding, and that's Jabari's as well.
Yeah, but there's a lot more than that. Like, I don't think outside of that they're really all that similar at all.
Questionable 3-point shots with all of them. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, outside of that though, like Miller's legit 6'10", where Jabari and Chris are what 6'7", and then Leonard Miller is more smooth with his handle.
yeah,
And I think he's a better passer than both guys. So Chris is like make the solid simple pass. I think Leonard Miller just has a little bit more to his passing. He's averaging over 3 assists a game in the G League right now, to go along with his 20 points. And he shot 38% from 3 in the G League. So like he's just the guy where people will like say, we'll joke like when Chris Murray plays well, oh, we could have had Leonard Miller, right? But I just think ultimately he's just going to need a chance. Yeah. And I think if he was playing for the Blazers, like he'd be looking pretty decent right now. But I'd rather have a guy with off the dribble upside that could play a more legitimate center role.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
With Chris Murray.
I wasn't saying I don't think Leonard Miller is better than those guys. I'm just saying like it would have been a similar. We would have been thinking the same things about him. It's kind of tough to judge off G League stats. We've seen people have insane G League stats this year.
Yeah. I mean, of course. But, yeah, I just think the difference is Chris and Jabari feel more pigeonholed into the 4 spot without creation upside.
Right.
At, like, a high level. So that's the difference for me. I mean, and that's why those two guys are redundant. Struggles with the 3-point shots, like decent rebounders, solid do little things, but also just a lack of creation upside and pigeonholed into a 4 spot.
First play of the game, though, Chris took the ball off the dribble, got to the rim, and laid it in.
Yeah, I mean, he can dribble drive. There's just a little difference between being able to straight line drive and he's like a sneaky driver a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he'll do the little like fake handoff, turn the corner type stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, Jabari did that last game too.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of that first drive was actually kind of like that. He caught the ball at the top of the arc and started dribbling towards Scoot and then turned the corner and finished, which is like crafty veteran move, right? Like good move. There's just a little difference between that and actually being able to create with a defender set in front of you. So sure. Chris attacks gaps well when they're there. Mm-hmm. I will give him that. Like when he's given an opportunity to attack a gap, he's pretty solid about it and doesn't really force a whole lot. So, difference between that and somebody that can maybe create those gaps once the ball's already in his hands, like shift his defender. And that's the optimistic hope with Leonard Miller. May never get there, but he's a guy that can maybe break down a defender. So, speaking of a guy that breaks down defenders, I mean, Delano Banton is kind of a guy that can, like, create opportunities for himself, but Eric, he shoots too much.
Yeah.
He had, like, 11 shots in his first 12 minutes of play.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes 5 for 19. He started 3 for 5. He had a stretch. Oh, my God. Wait, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He had a stretch in this game where he was 1 for 13. That's not good, is it?
No. To me, it's pretty obvious. I don't blame Banton for this because almost any player would do the same in his situation. But I mentioned this a couple streams ago. It feels to me like, Jabari and Chris and Tamani and Scoot and Reith now with his contract, they all are pretty confident they're going to be in the NBA next year and are most likely with the Blazers, all that kind of stuff. Where Banton came in he'd been a minimum contract guy with Chicago, or with Boston, I mean, and got, cut in Toronto. Um, and so I feel like he came in kind of looking at this like this is an opportunity for him to showcase what he had, much like when we signed a bunch of guys at the end of the last two seasons to fill out the roster and play in tanking games like Brandon Williams and stuff like that. So I feel like he is trying to show the NBA that he belongs and can score, and feel like he's the only one really that's obviously playing more for himself than the team. And once again, I don't necessarily blame him for that in the situation, but you can just tell the other guys are all seemingly gelling well and seem to generally care about everyone. And I'm not saying Band doesn't care about winning or the team or anything like that. It just, I think in his situation, he's trying to maximize how he looks right now.
Yeah, but he could maximize how he looks by just making the simple play.
Right.
Like, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was a play where he just ignored Ashton Higgins, who had his hands up, and Ashton Higgins just held his hands up like 3 seconds after he missed the shot. Because, there was multiple times where he was wide open. I actually got a couple of still frames. I'll toss up on the screen real quick because it's kind of indicative of who Delano Banton is right now. This first play is that play I'm talking about. I mean, you literally got 4 defenders in the paint. And, the shot's going up and didn't have a chance. Like, he's just smothered. Like, make that kick out pass to the corner. He doesn't read the defense. He just puts his head down. That's where, Rupert, I actually trust Rupert to make this kick out pass. Like, maybe not consistently, but I trust him to, be able to see it. I feel like Banton never sees this pass. Sees this pass.
Well, he did once in the second half, I think, on one of Kamara's threes. How many assists
never
did
is an
Banton have?
overstatement. What'd you say?
How many assists did Banton have tonight? Just one? That was probably it then.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, a lot. I feel like the assist numbers are weird for the Blazers because you mentioned this a little bit earlier in the stream. There is a lot of dribble handoffs where the guy turns the corner and takes one dribble, and that's considered an assist. There's a lot of just swinging the ball around the perimeter, and someone will take a dribble in and shoot a mid-range or get to the basket. Tonight there was a couple nice lobs, or there was one, I forgot who threw it, but Jabari had a cut and got a nice pass from someone for a dunk. And then, so there was a few nice passes mixed in there, but I feel like a lot of the assist numbers are just as a byproduct of the Blazers, moving the ball better lately, and that's just going to amount to assists every once in a while,
Yeah. I do think some of it is guys just making... Some guys are willing to make kick-out passes, some guys aren't. Unfortunately, Banton is the latter. But, I mean, it's not just kick-out passes, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. What do you think happens here? How many open options does he have here?
Especially, because the last play, you can say maybe once he drove in, he didn't see anything, but there's no way you can't see Moses here, right?
Yeah, or the corner...
Yeah.
Or Higgins. I understand Higgins is hard to say. Or Chris Murray's open. Literally everybody is open. Literally everyone on his team is open. What do you think happens here? What normally happens here when Banton's in this situation? He's shooting. Doesn't matter that he's triple teamed. Shot's going up.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's why he's inefficient from 2. It's not that he's not capable of finishing. It's that place like these, he's forcing some BS. And it's funny because, we get Banton and he, plays a couple of games and scores the ball and people are like, Ant's too selfish, Banton is better, Banton's more exciting. It's like, man, if Ant was doing some of this stuff, these people would be crucifying him to no end. Oh, my goodness. And the thing is, Banton's 6'9", too. You got to be able to see over the top of the defense.
But that's what we said since we acquired him, that he needs to use his size more to see this pass right here.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of drives like that are very frustrating, where he forces something against 2-3 defenders instead of making the right pass. And like this still shot is a perfect image to describe my biggest problem with Delano Banton. Is in this situation, shots going up.
Bot says Kobe had the same thing said about him. Yeah, but Kobe's one of the best players of all
Banton
time.
is not Kobe.
Banton's a minimum contract guy
What are we doing?
He got traded for a top 55 protected second round pick. Like, it's not comparable in my mind.
Even Kobe, I think, would have made this pass to Shaq. Like,
yeah,
come on now, come on. So it's why he has inefficient nights. Like, when he can get downhill, the thing is he collapses the defense. If he just made the right play, he'd be so good. And it's like right there, and instead he's trying to play like freaking Kobe, I guess. So
that is something though. Like, if he's on the team next year, I hope that he watches film and sees how he's manipulating the defense, and it is creating these passing opportunities. Hopefully he works on that this summer.
What's the coaching staff saying to him though in situations like these? You know what I mean? Like,
they're saying, we don't have anyone who can score. You need to take 19 shots, probably. You're gonna have to take some tough shots.
If that's the case, that's just stupid.
I mean, we know that's what they told Jeremy this year.
Yeah, but
and we know that's what they tell Ant.
That's the problem. Is like our offense is designed where like one guy is supposed to just put his head down and like dribble into traffic and force up some BS, almost by design. That's not good. That's bad. That's bad coaching. That's bad coaching. If that is by design at all, where you're just telling this dude, yeah, like get to the rim and try and, I don't know, like what coaching staff says that to a player though? Isn't Chauncey all about making the right read, the right pass, the next pass?
But he knew that the other players weren't grasping his complex system, so he has to have guys going on.
I mean, I don't. Yeah,
I'm just joking.
I know. I don't know what he.
JP Savvy says, I still want to keep Banton. Hopefully he loses the shoot first, shoot second mentality when he gets a guaranteed contract. Yeah, I'm there with you outside of, if it wasn't for still curious how we're getting under the tax and how we're going to accommodate all these players on the roster with no roster spots. But outside of that, I kind of agree that is not a bad thing to hope that he learns some of this stuff maybe. But yeah, as the end of the bench guy, but yeah, I'm not counting on him as like a rotation player moving forward.
Yeah, just imagine this coupled with like shooting 29 or 30% from three, which he was doing earlier in his career.
Yeah,
we would say he sucks. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not like he's playing particularly good defense. The thing is, he's hit threes.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a lot better when he's hitting threes.
I mean, his 3-point shot does look nice. It's not.
Yeah, but what's he shooting in a Blazer uniform though right now? 38%. Yeah, 38%. Like, that's far above his career average. I don't know if he can keep it up. Like, I feel like everybody's loving him right now because he's had some big games. And, it's a 6'9" guard instead of a 6'3" guard. And he's made some threes, yay. But, like, next year we could bring him back, maybe give him a rotation spot. He shoots, like, 31% from three and has this, like, shoot first, shoot second mentality and just drives us all crazy as fans.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that is very possible. So, it's frustrating because he could be really like a really solid role player, a really unique role player too. But man, yeah, he has to pass the ball more. My goodness.
Yeah. Do you blame him though? Do you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because if you're trying to, it's the NBA, right? Like, coaches are supposed to notice this stuff and notice if you're forcing shots against 3 defenders instead of making the next pass to your 7'2" big man right under the rim. Okay. Yeah. And like, if you're trying to stick in the NBA, you got to show teams that you can play a role, and part of his role needs to be that he'll make the right play and make the right read. Whether
but that
that's
doesn't
a
always
shot or a
show
pass.
up to other GMs who aren't necessarily watching all the games. And
Yeah, but I mean, these GMs have like NBA scouts and like a whole front office that are supposed to sort through this stuff and know this type of stuff, where it's like, okay, if you're prepping for free agency in April, May, June, etc., you have people within front offices that are supposed to get scouting reports and figure out this type of stuff, right? Like, the front office is, and you know this, I'm just saying this for people that don't know this, the front office is much more than just a GM. There's assistant GMs, but then there's people under them. At least the well-ran front offices, who knows with ours, but...
That's funny.
So.
Sock running at the game. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Good old Cronin. Taylor Packer says, yeah, but his Kobe mentality has resulted in some big games that will put him on the map to other teams. That wouldn't be the case otherwise, in my opinion. I mean...
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking. It's just...
If he's on the map, he's going to stay here. If he just made the right play, nobody's saying he shouldn't shoot. He could still be having big games while being even more efficient and averaging more assists. That would also put him on the map to teams. If he was scoring, he's averaging like 14 points per game, 14 points per game, 3 assists in Portland. If he was averaging like 11 points per game and 4.5 assists while being more efficient in Portland, I think that would put him on the map in just the same way. So that's why I still have some blame for him there, because I don't think that he has to play this selfishly in order to put himself on the map.
Yeah, but I mean, we've been talking about this since we acquired him. That's how he plays, and we've wanted him to showcase the playmaking a little more. And with his length, man, he should be able to do it. It's just, I don't know if he cares enough to want to do it.
Yep. I agree. Is there anybody else on this team you want to talk about?
I think we pretty much covered everyone.
Cool. Anything
we're going to do a second tankathon?
Yeah, we're going to do a second tankathon. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we're more lucky tonight with you on the stream. We got third again, which is pretty much what we've been getting. So it was a pretty run-of-the-mill.
Yeah.
Run-of-the-mill thing. But anyway, before we jump into Tankathon, though, this stream is brought to you by our friends over at BetUS. A quick word from them.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.
So with March Madness obviously underway, we got 8 games tomorrow. We picked spreads for 16 games on previous streams. I just want to real quick pick these 8 spreads. Eric, you can get in on this action with BetUS. I think had a pretty good track record. My bracket's a little busted, but in terms of picking the spread, I think I've been better this year. Unfortunately, Auburn just sold me, but that's the fun about, if your bracket's busted, you can pick spread lines and still have fun rooting for a team if you want to, or just, enjoying good old-fashioned March Madness basketball, which is a fun brand of basketball to watch. Connecticut, Northwestern, Connecticut 14-point favorites. I think that game's going to be closer than that, Eric.
Real quick, I feel so bad if you bet on Oregon. What was it? Plus 5.5.
Yeah.
You end up Creighton covers in double overtime.
Double overtime. They get up by 15 because Oregon just can't score. And
you guessed that game correctly, and you still lost,
Yeah, that's
what I
rough.
hate about gambling sometimes.
Yeah, it's rough. But you've
I
had some
just
blowouts this year. You've had some competitive games. I think Northwestern can shoot the three, and they got a star guard. I think they keep it closer than 14, Eric.
Yeah, but I don't think they've played many defenses like Connecticut, so I'm gonna say Connecticut keeps rolling
Alrighty.
until they don't.
I feel that. I feel that for sure. Colorado Marquette. Marquette is 4.5-point favorites. Marquette lost as a 2 seed in the round of 32 last year. Colorado's been looking really good offensively. I also am going to take the points with Colorado in this one. I think this is down to the wire. I like Colorado's chances to outright win this game.
Yeah, I've loved betting Colorado as the underdog lately, but I just have a sneaky suspicion that Marquette's going to play well tomorrow and get that dub. So I'm going to take Marquette actually.
Alrighty.
But I think the Pac-12 is still. Oh no, the Ducks lost. Sorry,
Yeah.
Doug. I didn't mean to bring that up. Sorry.
Well, Washington State also lost,
Yeah.
which is sad. But Colorado still holding out hope. And Arizona's in the Sweet 16. Purdue, Utah State, Purdue 11.5-point favorites. They blew out the 16 seed Grambling in the second half, but it did look kind of close there for a second. Utah State, I don't think is that good. I'm actually going to take Purdue here. I don't trust Mountain West teams to keep games close, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think Utah State's gonna have a tough time with ED, so I'll also take Purdue.
Duke 7.5-point favorites against 12-seeded James Madison. James Madison is good, bro.
Yeah,
They're not your normal 12 seed. I think this is a very close game. I also like James Madison's chance to outright win, but I'm taking JMU in the points easily.
yeah. James Madison was so scrappy and physical and stuff that last game. So yeah, I think Duke's gonna have trouble with that. I think they probably win, but that's going to be a dogfight, so I'll take the points as well.
And then we got
Dro says Eric's petty shots at Oregon when OSU is in the CBI. Well, one, we declined an invitation to the CBI. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But two, Tori, you've been in the GC. I've been very pro complimentary for Oregon. Cousinard and Dante were probably like the best duo in the tourney so far.
Yeah.
And they should have won that game. I didn't mean to take a shot. I literally forgot.
It's not a shot. You know what's funny? Is when the Huskies lost the national championship, there was a lot of Ducks fans, some of them in that group chat, that was just celebrating it like they won the championship because Washington lost, right? And it's funny because, like, in this game, I was actually starting to root for Oregon just because being in GC with Oregon fans, like, I don't hate Oregon basketball, like, whatever. I was rooting for them. And I felt really bad for Duck fans because, man, I know what it's like to lose a really tough, close game like that. I know the pain, right? So I my condolences, and was never gonna rub it in at all. So it's just, it's funny. It's funny that we got a Ducks fan calling that a pity shot when, like, man, I legitimately, like, try not to be an asshole about teams when they lose. If my team doesn't play them, like, I don't prey on other people's downfalls like that, and I don't rub it in because I know the pain as much as anyone. I've already had 2 teams lose a championship this year, so maybe Gonzaga can make it a third, Eric. I'm glad they took care of business, though. My goodness.
That's on a Sweet 16. That's unexpected.
Thanks. Yeah, dude, they look dominant. So looking
second
forward
half.
to seeing who they play. If it's Purdue, that's going to be interesting. They played them earlier in the year. They were pretty competitive, so I think they can beat anyone right now. Baylor, Clemson. Baylor 4.5-point favorites. I think Baylor's just a noticeably better team than Clemson. I'm going to take Baylor in this one.
Yeah, me as well.
And then Alabama, Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon is 6-point underdogs. I have Grand Canyon in my bracket beating Alabama in this game. I had them beating St. Mary's, and they kind of controlled that game against St. Mary's too. In the second half, they're legit. Alabama will not be able to guard them. I am taking the points. I'm taking Grand Canyon to outright win. I would take that money line at plus 200.
Yeah, I'll also take the points. Grand Canyon was impressive the other day with your boy, and yeah, I'll take the points.
We got Houston, Texas A&M. Houston 10-point favorites. I'm going to take Houston on the spread line here because I think that they'll be able to slow down Wade Taylor IV, and I think everything with Texas A&M begins with him, but Houston has terrific perimeter defense. They're not going to leave him open like Nebraska did. I'm actually going to take Houston as 10-point favorites.
I can't jump off the Texas A&M bandwagon now. Give me the points. Bet the money line, actually. The plus 405. Yeah, lock.
You like the plus 405.
Houston's going down.
Interesting. Well,
Screw Houston.
Really be screwed.
I was so mad when they lost last year with
they
a better
sold you
team.
Last year, yeah. So then I picked them this year instead of you.
Yeah.
And instead, Kentucky sold you this year.
Yeah. Have fun when they sell you tomorrow.
I know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And then final game of the day, San Diego State versus Yale. San Diego State 5.5-point favorites. I'm taking San Diego State here.
Yeah, Yale was impressive though the other day.
I was nervous taking Auburn all the way to the championship when they faced a Ivy League school round one, and that nervousness was correct.
Yeah. Man. That's a tough one. Yeah, I'll take San Diego State as well.
Alrighty. If anyone keeps track, let us know how we did tomorrow on our Monday stream.
Go back through the other ones,
or maybe we'll go back through. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very happy with those picks. I think I'm legitimately winning at least 5 of those 8 games against the spread. If you guys want to get in on the action, remember to sign up with BetUS. Link in description box below. Promo code JOIN125 so you can get 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. That's free money that they're trying to give you so you can have fun getting in on the action with March Madness, and you can test your luck, especially if your bracket's busted and you need something else to turn to. They got you covered. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring the post-game stream. Let's tankathon. We'll do an Eric-thon today, right now.
Nice.
We did a Tory-thon earlier. We'll do an Eric-thon now. No! I never mute the no. Every time I pull up Tankathon, it says no. But we're excited for Tankathon. We promise. We promise. I already talked about the odds. We're just going to simulate it, Eric. We're just going to simulate it. And we'll see if we do better or worse. $14 New Orleans, 13 Portland via Golden State, 12 OKC, 11 Chicago, 10 Atlanta, 9 Utah, 8 Houston via Brooklyn, 7 is Memphis, 6 is Toronto. So far it's all chalk. 5 is supposed to be Portland. And it's San Antonio.
Let's go.
San Antonio. Alrighty. This is a lot like last year, actually, with it being chalk until 5 and then us jumping up. At 4 is the Detroit Pistons. At 3 is the Charlotte Hornets. We're better than
Let's
3. Go. At 2 is the Portland Trailblazers.
No. Did you play it?
Yeah, you get 2 no's for the second pick. And then number 1 is the Washington Wizards. So the Wizards go Sar, and then we go Risa Shea.
We go Toppage.
Oh man. We're ending up with her. I might as well get the Risa Shea jersey now, man. He's gonna be our draft pick this year. Like, you realize that, right? Chat, Eric, we're gonna be drafting Zachary Risa Shea. Like, and I'm not high on him, so we'll see. We'll see.
I do know someone who saw a private workout with Salon over the last summer
Oh yeah.
and said he was super impressive
Oh, of
in
course
like
he did.
a workout. So, yeah, that person may or may not have ties to the Blazers.
Is that why you're so high on him?
No, no, no. I found this out after I said I thought Salon could be the best player in my draft. So,
You
yeah.
know who else the Blazers loved in workouts?
Yeah.
Scoot Henderson. And then he was ready to like take the league by storm and help Dame win, and is not your normal 19-year-old.
But this isn't the Blazers saying this. Yeah.
I mean, workouts are workout. Like
No,
I
I'm
would
just saying.
expect I would expect Salon to look impressive in a workout.
I'm just saying. They're. I had someone tell me that he was, like, just very, very impressive in a workout, and so
What-
like I wouldn't be surprised if it actually.
So when he was 17, he did a workout for what was it? Hoop Summit?
Uh,
Where
I do not know where this person saw them, but they do some international scouting and stuff, so might have been a private workout.
Alex Wolf, what is that comment up there? I don't know what you're talking. Wildin', bro. Alex is wildin'. I would expect Salon to look impressive during an individual workout, just because of his physical tools. Like that will look impressive. With Jim at 6'10", he moves well. He moves well. I don't know if you want to debate him at all right now because we.
I mean, we
debated
kind of
him
did last
today
stream,
in the
yeah.
GC, and
We did last
stream
stream too, yeah. All right, we don't
It's
have
like-
to get to it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say this: like, we don't disagree on his. I don't think we disagree on his ceiling, like his ultimate ceiling. I think we disagree on how likely he is to reach it or approach it. I think that's where the disagreement is with us.
Mm-hmm.
So
I just like the way he moves on defense. I think I don't know, he's just so fluid for his size, and just that alone combined with the 3-point, the way his shot looks, not necessarily the results, but just the way it looks. And then, as the season has gone on, he has shown a little bit more ability to put the ball on the floor and use the size a little bit. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he develops. But I don't know. I just see a game that, like, I don't really. I mean, of course he could be a bust, but, like, I don't know. I feel like he's pretty solidly someone who's going to take a huge jump in the next couple of years.
yeah, definitely not as confident as you. But
Whereas Ricochet, like, if he doesn't shoot well, like, I don't see him contributing, and it could be a bust, like a Dragon
Yeah.
Bender type, like. Sorry, Gabe.
I put Salon a spot higher than Ricochet. I had Salon a spot lower. I put Salon a spot higher than Ricochet. I mean, Ricochet just doesn't have star upside. He has a higher floor than Salon because I think you can buy his shot a lot more. But
Free throw percentage isn't good.
the free throw percentage is a little bit worrisome, and he wasn't known as a shooter until this year. That's why That's why I'm not high on Ricochet. He's not somebody that creates. Like, this is the thing with kind of both Salon and Ricochet in a way. There's, like, not much substance at all regarding them creating for themselves and others. Like, there will be a flash here or there, but it's like Ricochet's flashes will be like he'll have a move where he does like a weird like in between the legs thing crossover and shoots up some like flip shot is he's running away from the basket almost, and it like banks it in. It's like, dude, you're not going to make a living off those shots.
Right.
Like, he can refine his ball handling. He can be a little sharper. He's not super athletic. He doesn't have a great first step. He hasn't shown me that he knows how to, like, really change pace super fluidly, and he's not shifty. Like, where's the creation going to come from? I don't see it. He's a shooter, and that's basically it. And you can even raise some question marks about his shooting. So that's why I don't like Risacher. That's why I'm low on Risacher. I don't understand why teams apparently have him number one. It's the most baffling potential number one I've ever seen, Eric.
Yeah. I mean, that could be Cap, too.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is it's just so, like, I don't know. It's just so close between so many guys that's like the trendy thing to say him, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I got some heat on my, like, big board short that I dropped, but because, you know, I was low on him in top pitch, and it's like, dude, I don't care about consensus.
Yeah.
I am confident enough in my own ability to evaluate a prospect, to come up with my own opinions. And I understand there's people out there that obviously put a lot more time into it and a lot more research and do it for a living, that are probably going to know more about these guys than I do, but every NBA front office at some point or another will get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And every front office, if they have enough chances, at some point will get it right. You know, the Kings finally drafted De'Aaron Fox, for example. So, I've had times where I'm right. I've had times where I'm wrong. So I can come up with my own opinions. Like, because I've had some opinions that ended up panning out when every NBA team is passing on a guy that goes undrafted, and he ends up being a guy that should have been taken in the lottery. Or Herb Jones falling to the, you know, early second in. He ends up being a guy that probably should have gotten drafted in the lottery. Austin Reeves, Naz Reid. Like, there's multiple guys. Tyrese Maxey, I thought should have gone, you know, 10th, 11th range instead of, 21st, 23rd, right? So there's a number of guys that I've been right on against consensus or against where they got taken. But in the past, I feel like some of my, like, big board rankings or draft evaluations are swayed a little bit too much by consensus. Like, I had Herb Jones as a late first grade, but I feel like part of that was I was like, okay, everybody thinks it's a second round pick. I think he's a little better, but I was factoring it in, like, subconsciously in a way, right?
Yeah.
Because I loved Herb Jones. I loved Herb Jones in that draft. You can just hear about it when he got drafted, the way I talked about him, right? So, screw consensus. I do not care about consensus. Naturally, I will have multiple guys ranked that do line up with consensus, if there, you know, truly is one. I think there's somewhat consensus forming now, but that's just because consensus forms for a reason, because certain prospects are better than the others, right? Like, there's a reason why pretty much everyone has SAR top 3. You know what I mean? So, that's where I'm at with that. Like, I don't care about consensus, you know? I don't care that everybody has Risacher as a top 3 prospect. I'm not going to be afraid to rank him 11th if I think he's the 11th best prospect.
Yeah, for me, if anything, it's like with Risacher or whatever, I'll keep watching more games and more film on him until, like, I either see what people are seeing in him, or I'm just like, okay, I may be off, but I'm not going to agree with people. And so, I mean, when you do that, though, there's always going to be, like, a LaMelo Ball that we're wrong on. And it's not even necessarily that we're wrong. It's just, like, he showed no ability to be able to shoot the ball. And then all of a sudden can shoot his rookie year a little bit, you know, like it's impossible to see that coming.
And I'll say this, I've actually, I would say, been decent at projecting guys who aren't shooting well to, like, become better shooters. I did it with Austin Reeves and Tyrese Maxey.
But we're both wrong on LaMelo. But
yeah, we were both wrong on LaMelo. Right? So it's kind of a crapshoot when you're trying to guess, like, okay, is this dude shooting 27% in the NBA? Oh, going to shoot 35% in the NBA.
And we were both wrong on Johnny Davis. Yeah, I mean, I thought his defense would make his offense playable. but yeah,
He
like
just wasn't a
obviously
good enough
that's there.
shooter.
But that, the other draft that we had, I mean, I forgot where you had him, but I had Tyrese Halliburton 5th on my board.
I think I had him
In that
7th.
draft, he went, 12 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys were high on Kira Lewis? I was not.
I was.
Tori was. Yeah.
I was. Yeah. I like Kira Lewis, but he didn't pan out, unfortunately. Got hurt. A little too small. I'm a little bit more wary of that like build in a guard. So like
Yeah.
Dillingham I love, but I moved him down to like 6th just because I've been burnt by that
Yeah.
size of guard before. But
Well,
Dillingham is definitely better than Kira Lewis.
Well, Lewis, you were really high on his top end speed.
Yeah.
And that's something that, I mean, it's important. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's some really fast players that use that speed really well, but there's also a lot of players that don't know how to use that speed to their advantage. And
I mean, Scoot is a little bit of one.
Yeah,
so.
and Kira just never figured that out, So
I just thought he would be like somebody that was able to hit enough threes off the dribble to give himself opportunities to use that speed, and then he would be able to use it effectively, and he would be dynamic.
But that's why I'm not dropping Dillingham down because of his size, because I think he can hit enough threes, like off the dribble and stuff, to make his speed and stuff more of a strength. I don't know. Are you there?
Oh, I was muted. Sorry. The problem with Lewis was he just didn't shoot the 3-ball well enough. 33% his rookie year, 22% the next year, right? So the thing is, the biggest busts are going to be guys that can't.
Well, he got
shoot.
hurt too.
Yeah, but the biggest busts are going to be guards that can't shoot or wings that can't shoot. Okay, like Ron Holland has potential to be a bust for sure, right? You know who that is though? In this draft, it's Topic. That's who the bust in this year's draft. Like, he could be good, but if you look at the past few drafts, there's a trending theme between every player that was taken high and ended up being a bust, and it was that they couldn't shoot well enough. All the way back to even like Chris Dunn, Dante Exum, right? Josh Jackson, Jarrett Culver, Eric. All these guys struggled with their shot. And then even like, there's worries about Scoot. Maybe Scoot's a bust. And he doesn't have the greatest shot. Now, Amen and Asar Thompson, I think, just separate themselves in so many areas that I think they can actually make it by with that. So that's why I didn't discount them. But the running theme is guys that struggle to shoot. Especially if they aren't, like, super athletically gifted. That is literally Nikola Topic.
Yeah, the thing for me that scares me with saying that, though, is I do see, I mean, obviously not to this level, but I do kind of see a bit of LaMelo in him where, like, his passing, playmaking, creation, ability to get to the rim is something that has translated.
Yeah, but that's because LaMelo hits enough threes.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, I think, like, the way he uses his body and stuff. But then you go, I mean, the NBL is a pretty good league. It's becoming, like, I think it's pretty easily the 3rd best league in the world. It's pretty close to being up there with the Spanish league and stuff, but like, yeah. So that's the problem with Topic is his competition isn't as good. So is he just doing that because it's lesser competition, or is he truly one of those guys? Because I mean, that was also a concern about Luka coming out, like whether he could use that like if he was too slow to be able to use his playmaking in the NBA, and that's obviously
Yeah.
looks dumb now, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, he can hit insane step back threes, is
Right.
electric from the mid range. Like without that, he's not the same player. And I think LaMelo's a little quicker than Topic.
Yeah.
So, if LaMelo was a little bit slower and didn't shoot the three ball well, would he be any good? Like, I don't think so. And that's my problem with Topic. And Reese says Topic is too good of a driver throw, though, in my opinion. The thing is like Scoot, we saw him when he couldn't keep defenses honest, and still to this day, he was looked at as an insane driver at the point guard spot. Mm-hmm. Like a walking paint touch at a point guard spot. Like, he was going to be able to put so much pressure on the rim. And the lack of respect defenses give his three-point shooting makes it so, like, he can't do that at the level he should be able to do that at. So that's the thing with Topic, is, like, he's not as athletic as Scoot. He's not as good of a driver as Scoot. Mm-hmm. If he has similar shooting struggles, how's he going to be able to actually, like, beat his initial defender off the dribble? He's already not, like, super vertically explosive either. So how's he going to be able to, like, draw multiple defenders to create some of these kick-out passes and, like, actually get to the rim and finish himself?
Again, it is against lower competition, but he does have a lot of nice dribble hesitation, craftiness with the ball. He uses his size and body to fend off defenders and get down low. So he does do some good things to maybe be able to make it work without a shot. But, I mean, nowadays in the NBA, it's going to be hard for pretty much anyone unless you're a super elite finisher like Ja to make it work. But I don't know.
Yeah. He feels very Ricky Rubio-ish to me in a way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, Rubio's a dang good player, though.
Yeah, but he's a role guy. He's not a guy you take top 5 in a draft.
Yeah, I agree with that, Reese. Topic does have a knack for finding the right angles and stuff, whereas Scoot was more just put his head down and get there. And both of them were effective going into the NBA. We'll see if either of them long-term can be effective at the highest level.
Yeah, I just think Topic is going to be hard for him to get to those same angles unless he can get defenders to play out on him.
Yeah.
I mean, pick and roll defenders are just going to go under screens if he can't shoot. Like, he's not going to be able to turn the corner in the same way. Like, even if defenders go under screens in the league he's playing in, they're not as good, they're not as big, they're not as quick, so he can still maybe find those angles. It's really tough in the NBA against the best athletes in the world. So maybe he can figure it out. But that's the thing, is like, that is such a huge question mark for me for him. Like, I'm not going to put him ahead of Cody Williams or Booz Ellis or some of these other guys that I have less questions about. Like, that's why I have Topic at 12.
Well, Topic and Riche also have question marks on defense as well. So
yeah. So like, but those guys are like consensus top 3. But I'm lower on both of them, and it's for legitimate reasons, I think. And maybe they do pan out.
Javier Torona says, if y'all can remember, what was y'all's thoughts on Luka coming to the draft?
Like everyone, I did have concerns about his speed and if he was going to be able to create space and like beat his defender off the dribble. I think I still had him top 3 though.
Mm.
I forget. I didn't do big boards and stuff back then, so it's hard to remember.
I didn't do a big board either, but I thought he was far and away the number 1 player in the draft. I thought both, obviously Sacramento at 2 and Phoenix at 1 were stupid for passing on him. And, but I also like Mo Bamba in that draft. So, I mean,
I like Mo Bamba too.
But then Tori knows this, but I absolutely love Mikal Bridges in that draft. And that was like my draft crush that year. So,
me and you both liked him.
Yeah. So that was like the 3 guys I liked the most in that draft were Luka, Mo Bamba and Mikhail.
I actually found a video on like draft sleepers that I made for like before I ever did Blazer content, just on my first YouTube channel I ever made.
Oh yeah.
And like all the videos are private because
Yeah.
you know they're a little cringy, but I actually found. Maybe I'll play it out loud. I found a part talking about sleepers, and I talked about Mikhail, and I actually think it was like pretty on point. Point. Screw it, I'll play the clip from this video from like this was like 6 years ago.
Hmm.
Let me see here. Where was it? 2K videos, man. That's how long ago it was. I did 2K stuff. Crazy. If there's any other questions in chat, you can answer.
I was just looking up the schedule. We play Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week.
Yeah, brutal.
No
schedule.
games next weekend. Nice.
They're all like early games too.
Or I mean Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. 7-game road trip.
Dude, why can't I find this video? I see a video. 8 reasons why Terry Stotts should be let go. The good old days. It was on in 2018. Oh, there we go. 8 underrated prospects. Yeah. Whoops. Wait, did I have music on this? Maybe I can't play it.
Number 2.
Yeah, I did have music on it. Never mind. Can't play it. Copyright.
Ooh. Oh,
I'll read the
We got Mikhail.
I'll read the subtitles. I said, go ahead.
I was just saying, speaking of booing, I didn't really hear many boos for Chauncey tonight.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So my pre-draft comparison for Mikal Bridges was Chris Middleton. I don't think that's terrible. I said Bridges could be a lockdown guy, but not only that, he could be a 40% three-point shooter, a guy that can attack the rim very well because he's athletic and has some ball skills. And he gives me the same feeling that Jimmy Butler did, Paul George did, as a good college defender that has some flashes of shooting potential and some flashes of ball handling ability. And I think 3-and-D players are always underdrafted, especially ones that spend multiple years in college. Draymond Green, Paul George, Jimmy Butler, Chris Middleton, Jay Crowder. Back then he was good. Go look at all those guys and their draft positions. Even Kawhi Leonard at 15, Klay Thompson. None of those guys went higher than 10, and they're all all-star level players, well, other than Jay Crowder. I think Mikal Bridges could be the next. That's what I said.
Nice.
You might have liked him even more than me back then, but yeah, that's Who else did I have in this video though?
Well, I loved him. Like, I wanted the Blazers to get him so bad because I thought he'd be the perfect small forward with Dame and CJ. Like, yeah. I didn't really know if he'd be good on like a rebuilding team, but luckily for him, Phoenix got good pretty fast. But imagine if Philly doesn't make that trade, man.
Oh, I know. He would have been huge for him.
Got Mikal and Embiid,
Yeah,
Ben Simmons. That defense would have been sick.
that would have been nasty. The other guys I had in this video, this just proves that I'm better at scouting second-round picks than first-round picks. Muhammad Bamba. This is 8 underrated prospects, okay? So it went Muhammad Bamba, Mikal Bridges.
How was Bamba underrated, though? He was always...
I thought he should be in conversation for, like, the top prospect. Because I was like, I think he can be Rudy Gobert with a three-point shot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, which, you know, is a very intriguing player. Like, I thought he would be that level of defender, and he just never was. Colin Sexton.
Yeah, it's starting to look better.
Yeah. Elliot Kobo, remember? I loved him.
Yeah, I liked him, too.
And I watched back his highlights in this video. He looks so good.
Dude, there's another super quick guard that couldn't shoot.
Yeah. But like he was hitting some like off the dribble threes like pre-draft. I was like, man, if he could do this, that's intriguing. And then you like this guy too, right? Or was it just me? Chandler Hutchison?
Draft? I was kind of meh on him. I obviously dug into him a lot because you kept talking about him like nonstop that draft. But yeah, I was a little higher than maybe consensus on him, but not super high.
Yeah, he had some injuries, like but the next 3 are second round prospects. Okay. One I missed on was Alize Johnson, but he was like a late second. Like he was like a deep sleeper, which is really hard to hit on those. The other 2 guys, Eric, Mitchell Robinson and Bruce Brown.
Nice.
So, hit on those guys, but the others all questionable other than Mikhail.
Mitch Rob, I know he fell into the second round, but there was a lot of people that had.
There was a lot of buzz, but like he didn't play. Remember, he didn't play in college.
Yeah.
So people were just like, "What is he?"
Right.
What
draft was that? 2018.
Yeah. Yeah, and basically, like, my whole thing was he's really athletic. Looks like he can be a legitimate rim protector and lob catching big. Like he could be a starting center pretty easily, and he's being mocked as like an early second.
I wish I had Anthony Simons on that.
I know. I know. Well, I did do mock drafts.
So that would have been the Gary Trent draft, right?
Yeah.
And man, I'm blanking on the guy's name. Who went the pick after Trent?
I forget.
That guard out of Creighton. God, what was his name?
Oh, his name started with a K.
I wanted the Blazers to draft him.
Kyrie Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyrie something. I wanted the Blazers to draft him so bad at 24 or whatever that Anthony's pick was, and then we traded for the 37th pick, and I was like, please, because he was still on the board.
Yeah. Yeah, Kyrie Thomas. Yeah, we were high on him, yeah.
Yeah. He was kind of in that Donovan Mitchell mold from the year before. I thought he could have possibly broken out offensively, but would be really awesome defensively, but never really panned out.
Yeah, it's going to be really easy, like 6-7 years from now, to just be able to go back and be like, like see our opinions and everything. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting going back through some of these videos that I have hidden from the world for good reason. Brad Stevens gets no respect. Chill NBA rant. I have no idea what I was talking about. I have not watched that back. Maybe I will at some point. Maybe I'll make a video reacting to old videos once or twice during the off season, because some of these are just, I don't know. 6 Kawhi trade ideas. That was back during the Kawhi.
That would have been 2018 summer too, right?
Yeah.
Did you have him going to Toronto for DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl in a first?
No, I don't think I had him to Toronto. Did I put the trade machine graphics up on the screen though? Oh, this was back in the day. This was back in the days where I used. No, I made graphics for this, Eric. Do you want to know how I made the graphics?
How?
Let me wait. Can I just take a picture?
Alex Will says, I thought the channel started in 2019. It did. He's talking about videos he did on his own prior to this.
Yeah. I made them in Excel and then I copy pasted them into my editor.
Nice.
It's so scuffed. It was so much easier than what I do now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll start somewhere.
Should develop a program that changes Excel into your fancy graphics.
That'd be pretty sick, actually. I had Indiana trading Miles Turner, Domantas Sabonis, Bojan Bogdanovic, a 2018 and maybe a 2020 first-round pick for Kawhi. That would give them a lineup with Darren Collison, Oladipo, Kawhi Leonard, Thad Young. It would unite the Texas guys and Aldridge and Miles Turner in San Antonio. I had Denver trading for Kawhi, trading Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Juan Hernangomez, and 2 firsts. So they had Kawhi and Jokic with Millsap, Will Barton, Malik Beasley. I did have Toronto trading for him.
Nice. What was the...
It was a lot more than they gave up. Actually, no, it wasn't. Because, actually, they keep DeMar. This might not have worked under the CBA, but I kind of knew the CBA back then. So, Toronto gets Kawhi. The Spurs get Valanciunas, Pirtle, OG Anunoby, 2019 and 2021, and maybe a 2023 first-round pick. So 2, maybe 3 firsts with Anunoby, Pirtle, and Valanciunas. So Toronto would have had Lowry, DeRozan, Kawhi Leonard, Serge Ibaka, and then they ultimately got Marc Gasol to be that center with Pascal Siakam off the bench, Norm Powell off the bench, Fred VanVleet off the bench. Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm sure I had Portland trading for him.
Idiot.
I'm sure I had Portland trading for him. Oh, Washington trades Bradley Beal, Otto Porter Jr., and a first for Kawhi, Patty Mills, Pau Gasol. So they have John Wall, Kawhi.
This must have been before there were rumors that he would only play like in LA and that his knee or his quad was possibly...
It was April 10th, 2018.
Yeah.
So.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Yeah, probably. I was a little more
Just
casual than I am.
Even when the trade happened, everyone was like, is he even going to show up in Toronto?
Yeah, so I think it was before then because that was like stuff that happened in the offseason during the summer. The Bucks. Spurs get Chris Middleton, Malcolm Brogdon, Thon Maker, John Henson in a first. Milwaukee gets Kawhi and Danny Green, so they have Eric Bledsoe back when he was good and not an expiring contract, the best expiring contract in the league. Bledsoe, Danny Green, Kawhi, Giannis, and then I had no idea who their center was going to be. Tyler Zeller or something like scuffed. Did I not have a Portland trade? I'm bummed out.
Disappointed, man.
I said 6 trade ideas, but I only showed 5.
Maybe didn't have a picture for one of those.
Maybe I didn't want to be a biased Blazer fan. You know?
Sure, Tori.
Yeah, anyway. Old videos are fun to look through and see some of the insane things I've thought. Some of the mock draft trades I came up with were fascinating. Oh, man. I had the Knicks trading up to get Doncic.
Well, Dallas did.
I know, yeah, true. The Kings traded the second pick to the Knicks for $937 and a top 2 protected 2019 New York first.
That year I was at Atlanta in one of our mock off seasons, and I stayed at 3 and got Doncic.
Yeah.
It's so weird to see him on Atlanta.
Oh, I know. Yeah, this mock draft was like Phoenix, Ayton. What did I say about Ayton? Because I did player analysis. Ayton is... Here's my player analysis on Ayton.
Generational center?
Ayton is a beast athletically.
Oh, nice.
Goes right along with dominating. Great low post player and an effective mid-range shooter with 3-point potential. Suspect defensively, but has potential. The best player in the draft.
Nice.
Stays, cool. And then like I had pick analysis as well. Stays in Arizona where he went to college, forms a great young duo with Devin Booker. Yeah, Doncic 2 to New York. Atlanta 3. Memphis, Marvin Bagley. What did I have Portland doing? Orlando got Trae Young. Phoenix also found a way to get Colin Sexton. I guess they traded for Colin Sexton. Cleveland got McHale. Charlotte got Kevin Knox. AJ's not here, though. Let's see what Portland... What did Portland get? Oh, that was SGA's draft. The Clippers still got SGA. My analysis for him. The dude's name is too long because I had trouble putting it in graphics. But he brings value in being a 6'6" point guard with two-way potential. He has no real strengths or weaknesses on offense, which could be seen as a positive or negative. Yeah. He was looked at as kind of like a safer pick. It's crazy what he became. I had Atlanta getting Anthony Simons at 19. I had Portland, of course, getting Chandler Hutchison. Anyway. Fun stuff. Who went number 3, you just said, to Atlanta? Jaren Jackson Jr. So we got Ant and Jaren Jackson Jr. in Atlanta. You sound like most scouts at the time? Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Anyway. The stream's been fun. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Anything else, Eric?
Well, thanks everyone for watching. Hope to see you all on Monday. Have a good rest of your weekend. For those of you on spring break in Oregon, hope you have a good spring break. And yeah, see you guys on Monday for 2 streams.
Yep, looking forward to it. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Thank you for joining us. The Blazers lose 114-111 in a shorthanded battle for both teams. Some impressive rookie performances considering we started 5 rookies, you know. There was bound to be some impressive rookies tonight. This stream has been brought to you by BetUS. Remember that link in the description box below. Promo code JOIN125 to activate your 3 125% deposit bonuses. You can get in on March Madness and MLB, which starts this upcoming week. Looking forward to it. Patrick Morehouse in here as we're leaving. What's up, Patrick? Good to see you. Good to see you. Appreciate y'all. We're out of here. 2 streams on Monday. Blazers Uprise live on the 2nd channel. And the postgame show after the Blazers take on the Houston Rockets again. Hopefully we can give Houston another win, Eric.
Yes.
Continue their winning streak, and they can catch Golden State. Let's go. No playing for Golden State would be sick. It's possible. Imagine Houston finishes with a better record than them. That'd be kind of funny. Fingers crossed.
And then Golden State moves into the top 4, and we have a small, albeit, but chance at Cooper Flag next year. Or Ace Bailey.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll take the risk. I'll take the risk.
I know.
But yeah. Got you guys covered. We got 11 more postgame shows left to do, and then video content. Gonna try and do daily again this off season. Already building videos. Videos are gonna be better than ever this off season. I fully believe in that. So hopefully you guys are excited for that. And anyway, we're out of here. Catch you 2 streams on Monday. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.